Healing, a space where God lives, where we explore how faith can transform your daily life. I'm so glad you're here.
Faith for healing, make you stand tall. Faith for healing, conquer it all. We move together, we know go fall. Divine mercy will answer your call. Faith for healing, faith for healing.
We know go fall.
Imagine fighting this brutal, just exhausting war where the explosions are deafening and the stakes feel literally like life and death.
Right, but absolutely no one around you can actually see the battlefield.
Yes, exactly. To everyone else, you look like you're, just sitting on the couch. But inside, sirens are blaring.
It's terrifying.
It really is. That's the isolating reality of health anxiety. It's this entirely invisible war zone. But today, we are going to look at how you stop fighting that war and, well, actually start dismantling it.
Because it is just so exhausting to live in that state of high alert,
Yeah.
So welcome to this special deep dive into your provided devotionals.
Yeah, we are looking specifically at Phase 4, Week 11 of your Faith for Healing 365-day plan.
And our mission here today is very intentional. We're going to walk through this week's material to really help you conquer that health anxiety. We want to help you build unshakable mental fortitude and discover true, lasting peace over panic.
That's the goal. And the root principle anchoring this entire week's material is that your mind is the control center of your body.
No.
If you want to see physical healing manifest, it has to begin by shutting down that internal chaos. So the material starts with day 71 by introducing this deeply necessary concept of declaring a mental ceasefire.
A mental ceasefire. I love that phrasing.
Right. And we have to look at the mechanism of why this is so critical, because anxiety, it isn't just an emotion. It's a profound physical response to a mental suggestion.
Yeah, that biological mechanism is exactly where the cycle of panic sustains itself. I mean, your brain's threat detection center, the amygdala, it's incredibly fast.
Super fast.
But it is also really easily fooled. It cannot tell the difference between a literal physical threat standing right in front of you and a terrifying what-if scenario playing out in your imagination.
Wow, so it reacts the exact same way.
Exactly. When your mind suggests, like a worst-case medical diagnosis, your brain signals the exact same release of adrenaline and cortisol as it would if you were being chased by a predator.
That is wild.
Your heart races, your breathing gets shallow, your muscles tense up. Your body is physically preparing to fight a disease that currently only exists in your imagination.
Which means your body is enduring the physical toll of a catastrophe that hasn't even happened yet.
Right. And that constant flood of stress hormones actively works against your body's ability to heal.
So when the devotional tells you to declare a mental ceasefire, and it grounds this in Isaiah 26.3, which promises perfect peace to a mind anchored on God, it isn't just offering, a nice spiritual sentiment.
Not at all.
It is instructing you to unilaterally halt the barrage of incoming fire. Like, a ceasefire isn't a negotiation with fear. It's an abrupt, commanded stop to all those what-ifs.
But to actually enforce that ceasefire, moving into day 72, you have to shift from a passive posture to a highly active one.
You can't just passively hope it goes away.
Right. You can't just sit in the trenches and hope the enemy runs out of ammunition. The material directs you to the principle in 2 Corinthians 10.5, which is all about capturing every thought.
Capturing every thought, That's heavy.
It is. You have to arrest those thoughts of fear before they can take root in your nervous system. You have to become the absolute gatekeeper of your mind.
Meaning you intercept the fear at the very threshold. So a hypothetical what if never gets the opportunity to camouflage itself as a factual this is.
Exactly. Because when you're in the middle of a health panic, every fearful thought comes rushing at the gate all at once.
It feels like a total mob.
It really does. So you have to force those thoughts into a single file line. You have to run them through a mental security scanner.
I love that. Think of it like an airport terminal. Your peace, your healing, that's the flight you were trying to catch, right?
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Every single thought that approaches the gate has to be put into a bin and sent through the scanner. And you examine it through the strict lens of your faith.
And just like a physical security scanner, this process is about identifying the nature of the baggage. You're looking at the molecular structure of the thought.
Right, what's inside the bag?
Exactly. Is this thought constructed of faith, of wisdom, of God's promises? Or is it carrying the contraband of a catastrophic, future-tripping panic?
And if that thought is carrying contraband, like if it's a mental image of a worst-case scenario or an obsessive worry about a specific symptom, it does not get on the plane.
It is confiscated on the spot.
You literally pull it off the conveyor belt before it can board the flight and just hijack your entire nervous system.
But we should acknowledge, how profoundly exhausting this level of vigilance is when you first start doing it.
Oh, it's so tiring. Capturing every single thought requires a massive amount of mental energy. It feels like you are working a 24-hour shift at that security checkpoint.
It is incredibly taxing at first, mostly because you're working against deeply grooved neural pathways. Your brain has practiced the route of panic so many times that it's basically an 8-lane highway now.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
But as you rigorously enforce this security checkpoint, confiscating that fear time after time, you begin to experience a massive paradigm shift.
Which brings us to day 73. The devotional frames this as the sound mind law. And this is where we really get down to the core of identity.
Yes. The text makes a radical declaration here. It says fear is not a personality trait.
That is huge, because we absorb fear into our identity so casually, don't we?
Pull the cut.
We say things like, I'm just an anxious person, or I've always been a hypochondriac. We wear it like a name tag.
We introduce ourselves to the world and to ourselves as someone who is fundamentally broken or perpetually terrified.
Right. But when you adopt anxiety as a personality trait, you essentially give it a permanent lease in your mind.
You do. You stop fighting it because you believe it's just who you are. But the source material legally separates you from the anxiety.
It references 2 Timothy 1.7, right?
Yes, reminding you that God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Fear is defined here as an illegal spirit.
An illegal spirit. I mean, it is a trespasser. It absolutely does not belong to you.
And that reframing changes the entire dynamic of the fight. You are not an anxious person. You are a person with a God-given sound mind who is currently experiencing an illegal intrusion of fear.
You don't have to manage it. You don't have to accommodate it. You have the authority to evict it.
Exactly. You refuse the confusion it brings, and you claim your legacy of clarity.
And once you stop viewing fear as a permanent fixture of your personality, you become hyper-aware of how much fear you might actually be inviting into your life by accident.
Oh, absolutely. When you realize fear is a trespasser, you start looking at all the doors and windows you've been leaving wide open.
Which naturally triggers the necessity of day 74, a systemic input audit. To maintain that sound mind you just claimed, you have to actively unfollow fear and subscribe to the word.
Yes, the mental audit.
But, let's address the reality of how difficult this audit is in practice. Because when you are dealing with a very real physical symptom, maybe your heart is racing, you feel a strange pain, or you're waiting on lab results, the brain's immediate desperate craving is for certainty.
It wants answers right now.
Right. It is human nature to want to research that symptom. We convince ourselves that if we just get enough information, we will feel safe.
And that's the trap.
So how does this material suggest you balance the very practical need to stay informed about your health with the spiritual instruction to unfollow fear? Because completely ignoring a severe symptom isn't faith. I mean, it's just denial.
Well, that is the exact tension where health anxiety thrives. But if we look at the mechanics of what the audit is asking for, it is not telling you to avoid doctors or ignore medical wisdom or live in denial.
Okay, that's an important distinction.
The audit specifically targets the inputs that feed the panic loop. There is a massive psychological difference between seeking a professional medical diagnosis and, say, falling into a reassurance-seeking spiral on the internet.
Oh, the doom scrolling at 2 a.m.
Precisely. When you are obsessively scrolling medical forums, reading the absolute worst-case scenarios from strangers, your brain is looking for certainty. But instead, it's finding 10 new things to be terrified of.
You are literally feeding the chaos.
You are. The audit requires you to recognize when seeking information has crossed that invisible line, from gathering wisdom to feeding an addiction to panic.
You have to deliberately starve that fear. You cut off its supply line.
You stop reading the forums. You stop checking your pulse every 5 minutes. And you intentionally feed your mind the healer's truth instead.
It's recognizing that the internet search isn't actually soothing your anxiety. It's acting like throwing gasoline on a fire. You have to remove the fuel.
And this audit of your inputs naturally has to expand outward, right? From your internal thoughts to your physical environment.
Yes, which leads perfectly into day 75. The devotional moves into this concept of cultivating an atmosphere of stillness, which involves engineering a home quiet zone.
The word engineering is so crucial here because peace in a chaotic world does not happen by accident.
No, it doesn't.
You have to physically build the environment that allows your nervous system to stand down. We talked earlier about the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. Well, to get your body to switch over to the parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest state where physical healing actually occurs, your environment needs to signal to your brain that you are safe.
You cannot expect your internal alarms to turn off if your external environment is constantly blaring.
Exactly. Engineering this stillness means you physically turn off the 24-hour news cycle. You silence the endless push notifications on your phone. You dim the lights.
You create a physical boundary against the noise of the world.
The material points to Psalm 46.10. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness here isn't just the absence of noise. It is the active, heavy presence of peace.
It is turning your physical home into a sanctuary where your exhausted nervous system can finally decompress.
Think about the progression of what this requires of you. You've declared a unilateral ceasefire against the what-ifs. You've set up a rigorous mental security checkpoint.
You've legally evicted the label of the anxious person.
You've cut off the fuel supply of doom scrolling, and you have physically engineered your home into a quiet zone. I mean, this is incredibly disciplined, heavy, intentional work.
It really is. It is the deep, quiet work of dismantling a fortress brick by brick. But that intense, cultivated silence isn't the final destination.
No, it's not.
The silence is actually the runway for a massive spiritual and psychological release. Which brings us to the most energetic part of this journey on day 76, the mental shout.
Oh, I love this part.
After all this disciplined capturing of thoughts, the material says it is time for the shout of freedom, declaring that the chains of worry are finally broken.
The contrast is what makes this so impactful. You move from the profound, deliberate stillness of engineering your quiet zone directly into a vocal, victorious shout.
It's the external manifestation of an internal breakthrough.
Exactly. You are declaring out loud that you are no longer a prisoner to the cycle of health anxiety.
To understand why a literal physical shout is so important here, think about how the brain gets stuck in an anxiety loop. It is like an old vinyl record that has a deep scratch in it.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to picture it.
The needle hits the scratch and the song just skips. It plays the same terrifying 3 seconds of audio over and over and over again. Ruminating on a health fear is your brain skipping on a scratch.
And you can't just think your way out of it because your thoughts are the things that are skipping.
Right. A physical, thunderous, joyful shout actually jars the record player. It physically bumps the needle out of the groove.
And that physical interruption is entirely backed by physiology. Vocalizing, especially a deep, resonant shout or singing, engages the vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve, right?
Yes, which is basically the superhighway of your parasympathetic nervous system. It literally sends a biological signal to your brain that the threat is over.
It breaks the rumination cycle.
It does. You aren't shouting in panic. You are roaring in absolute liberation. As Psalm 116.8 describes, it is the realization that your soul has been delivered from death, your eyes from tears, and your feet from falling. The mind is suddenly whole.
The heavy iron doors of that invisible war zone finally swing open and you step out into the sunlight.
It's a beautiful image.
And once that massive release of tension has occurred, the week culminates on day 77 in the most profound, comforting place possible, resting in the promise.
The battle for the mind has been waged and won. You've done all the exhausting work.
Now you are instructed to simply rest, to sleep in total security because the Prince of Peace is on watch.
It quotes Psalm 4.8, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. Which brings up a fascinating dynamic about the nature of sleep when you're dealing with anxiety.
Sleep is the ultimate state of vulnerability, isn't it?
It really is. You are completely relinquishing control. You can't monitor your symptoms. You can't research on your phone. You can't actively protect yourself.
And when you are terrified for your health, relinquishing control is just the hardest thing in the world to do. The instinct is to stay awake, stay vigilant.
Keep checking your heart rate.
Exactly. Keep checking in with your body to make sure you are still okay.
And that is why I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to mull over as you walk out this week of devotionals.
Okay, I'm listening.
True. Deep sleep and mental stillness aren't just physiological necessities for your body to repair itself, although they absolutely are. But in the context of this journey, your sleep is the highest form of spiritual warfare.
Wait, really? Sleep as an act of warfare? That completely inverts how we usually think about fighting a battle.
It does. But think about it. The enemy of your peace wants you pacing the floor. He wants you up at 3 a.m., strategizing, ruminating, entirely consumed by the illusion that if you just worry enough, you can somehow control the uncontrollable.
Wow.
But when you willingly lay your head on the pillow, close your eyes, and choose to rest deeply, when you flat out refuse to participate in the midnight panic, you are handing the enemy the ultimate proof that you completely trust the promise maker.
Your rest becomes the physical, undeniable evidence of your faith.
Exactly.
It is you declaring with your actions, I do not have to stay awake to protect myself because my God does not slumber.
That's it. You are running those thoughts through the security scanner one final time, confiscating the worries of the day and stepping fully onto the flight to perfect peace.
It transforms going to bed from a battleground of what-ifs into a sanctuary of surrender.
It is the ultimate victory over the invisible war zone. You have taken your mind back, and now you can rest.
To close out our week together, we want to pray over you using the daily prayers from this week.
Lord, I bring every fearful thought into captivity. Replace health anxiety with your perfect peace.
Father, I pull down every imagination that contradicts your word. I believe your report.
Lord, I claim my legacy of a sound mind. I refuse confusion and embrace your clarity.
Lord, give me the discipline to filter what I feed my mind today. I choose your word.
Lord, let your peace settle over this house like a blanket. No chaos is welcome here.
Father, I shout because the chains of worry are broken. I am free.
Lord, thank you for the gift of a quiet heart. I rest in your keeping today. Amen.
Thank you for following and sharing. We appreciate your support. God bless you. You can connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram under Faith for Healing.
Every like, it's a beautiful thing. Join the family, hit that button, let the healing flow.
Faith for Healing, we appreciate the love. Like, subscribe, and share the blessings from above. Yeah, hit that subscribe. We appreciate the love. Faith for Healing.